morning, and welcome to our first episode of History Snippets Season 2. Today, we're going to be talking about Springfield resident P.P. O'Donnell. Peter P. O'Donnell was a confectionery manufacturer in Springfield in the mid-19th century. Candy, like the candy we eat today, or some cases the candy only some of us like to eat today, was started being produced more commonly around the end of the Civil War because sugar prices started to go down a lot at that time. Plus, the Industrial Revolution brought around candy-making machines that made the process quicker and easier and cheaper to do. This, in turn, started making candy more affordable for the everyday person, so candy shops started popping up with these tantalizing window displays to draw people in. But back to O'Donnell. I was curious about this candy maker as I hadn't heard of him before, so I started to dig a little bit deeper into his history. Peter P. O'Donnell was born in Ireland in 1850 and later married and had 5 children. He ran his candy business in Springfield from at least 1869 to 1881, but my guess is he actually ran it until he left Springfield in 1883 or 84. He was actually quite young when he started out. He was only 19 years old when he started deciding to sell candy. O'Donnell started a little more modestly. He started with a candy stall and later was able to open an entire shop on the public square in 1875. The shop was listed in the newspaper with all of its elegant trappings. These included marble-topped counters, stylish frescoes on the walls and ceilings, and even pendant chandeliers throughout the building. In addition to his shop space on the main floor, he had a second floor where he could manufacture candy, and in the cellar he had a place where he could store items as well. And with his shop, he started to diversify. At different points in his career, he started selling fruit, ice cream, and even Sangamon Valley wines. Hopefully the wines were sweet to match the whole theme of the shop. Not everyone may have this question on their mind, but one thing that I kept asking myself was, what kind of candy did O'Donnell sell in his shop? Unfortunately, I don't have any specific list of what he sold in his shop, but the likely candies that he would have been selling would have been similar to what other people were selling at the time, like rock candy and caramels and marshmallows and saltwater taffy. But there were also a lot of candies that came about in the 19th century that are still around today, like Good and Plenty and Tootsie Rolls and circus peanuts. So basically, all the types of candies that I and your grandmother enjoy. I just imagine the spread that would have been in O'Donnell's shop at the time. Think, you're a child and your parents have just turned you loose out of the house with a penny, and where is the first place that you're going to want to go? Straight to the marble counters of P.P. O'Donnell's shop, while your parents, of course, pick up a little wine for later. So connecting his shop history to the present-day SAA that houses Edwards Place, I read that he opened his shop next door to the new drugstore, which happened to be Broadwell Pharmacy, and that building now houses the SAA Collective Art Gallery. O'Donnell also had a generous side. He was known to donate his wares to community events like a fair benefiting the Home for the Friendless. This home helped women and children in need, but it primarily cared for the children. Unfortunately, at that time, the home did practice discrimination. Children that were known to be illegitimate were not allowed in, and Black children were also not cared for at the home. To close out our story on P.P. O'Donnell, in the 1880s, he ended up moving up to Chicago from Springfield and opened up a brewery. He became president of the O'Donnell and Dewar Brewing Company, so I suppose he ended up liking the alcohol side of his business a little bit more than the candy side. Sadly, O'Donnell suffered a serious tragedy in 1903. His wife, Louise Kavanaugh O'Donnell, was killed in the Iroquois Theater fire that killed hundreds of people and actually ended up bringing about a lot of fire regulations that we see today. Shortly after that, O'Donnell retired from his brewery business, and in 1914, O'Donnell passed away in Chicago. So this was just one story about a Springfield resident that ended up taking me down a rabbit hole I didn't expect to go down, but we have plenty more of these stories for you coming up during this season's History Snippets. Thanks.